Hey you guys, I am Sharzad Morgan and I want to answer a question someone left for me that I think deserves an answer. You said in your video, Sharzad, that the place to meet men is in social groups, but you also said you do not like friends or social groups. What gives? Well, I will say that I got to the place of not liking social groups as a result of not having found any that I enjoyed. When I was younger, I was part of many social groups, and you might be able to relate. And by social groups, I mean any place where there's community that you see repeatedly over time. It could be in school, junior high, high school, college, work, your neighborhood, places where you go to events, church, and those are places where I met all my previous boyfriends, was in places like that. And then, of course, when I was married, we had a few friends that we did things with together, but that would also be a social group. Unfortunately, my ex-husband was very antisocial, and all my attempts to like do things with other couples, he didn't really like that. So when I got divorced, there really wasn't like this big network of friends that I had, and also it just kind of the nature of like family life that you kind of get very a lot of your needs met in your own family life, and friends sometimes fall to the wayside. And that was a choice that I made too. So by the time I got divorced, I had like a few friends, but they kind of also fell by the wayside because I was starting a whole new life and I was single, and I was made a lot of single friends. I was working at the time, but I would say that in my time working in an office with other people, going to events and conferences and meeting with clients through my work, I did not meet any men that I wanted to date, because it's not just like are men there, but it's the kind of man that has his shit together, more or less. Like, can you carry yourself well? Do you look like you are safe and friendly and competent and interested in me? So it's not too much to ask. I haven't even mentioned money or whether he has kids or anything like that. So I went to a lot of different places to try to meet men, and places that I enjoyed, because I don't believe that we should go to places just to meet someone if we're not genuinely into that. So I went to CrossFit, hot yoga, many different kinds of events, meetup classes like cooking classes, church. And some of these places I went to a few times, and some of these places I only went to once or twice to see are the kind of, this is the thing that I enjoy, are the kind of men that I would find attractive here. Now, interestingly enough, this is something that happened. I have an eye for relationship type of guys, because they look together and their faces look friendly and safe and sensual. And I remember like I asked this guy at CrossFit, he was so nice to me during the class and he was encouraging me. And I'm like, God, he's very good looking. And, I think I might want to get to know him. So after the class, when he walked out to his car, I walked out and I said, hey, do you want to like get together for coffee sometime? And he was like so flattered. And he just stood there with his car door open and he's like, I'm married. But he would not move. He was just so flattered. And that happened to me a few more times. There was a guy in my neighborhood helping his son move in. And again, being vetted, that's kind of community. A guy in the neighborhood, his son's moving into my neighborhood. And I happened to see him a couple months later, and I'm like, this is my chance. I'm going to ask him to coffee. And he also said he was married. And right then, the door opened and the wife came out. So I'm like, oh my God. And then I was at campfire. I was just looking around for men that I found attractive. That was my thing. Can I find any men I find attractive? And if I do, I will just ask them, say hi, and ask if they want to have a coffee. So I saw this guy, he was a good looking guy, and he didn't have a ring on. None of these guys had rings on, by the way. He didn't have a ring on. I'm like, he's got to be single. Oh my God. I'm just going to, maybe he'll want to have dinner with me. Maybe he's here alone and I'm here alone. We can have dinner together. So I'm just debating and trying to get up my courage to go up to him. And right then, there's a lady that's coming in the restaurant, or she came out of the bathroom, I don't remember. And she joined him, and she had 2 little kids with her, so he was a dad. Like I have a pretty good eye for men. Like if you have a question about whether this is a good guy or not a good guy, you should ask me, because I have an eye. My selectivity filter is like top notch for competent, sensual men. Very good filter. Anyway, so I was looking for spaces where there were competent, sensual, put together men, and I haven't found any, not for lack of trying. I think that the it does help. The more of a social circle you have, the more people you're around, the more you give yourself opportunities to meet other people. It's just naturally how it goes. And I guess for me, it has not been a priority to go to spaces, other spaces, just to meet men. If I wanted to meet men, where would I go? I guess I could go to the men's department at Nordstrom and hang out there. That seems very desperate. I could go to a car show and pretend I'm one of the guys. That seems very desperate. I'm not interested in cars, except my car, and I want it to work. I could go to a football game. I don't mean to offend anyone, but I think football is for men. I think baseball is for men. I grew up in Germany watching soccer, but I think all those other sports are for men, wrestling and all that. And I don't want to be in men's spaces. I think men should have their own spaces. As a woman, I'm not interested in any of that. And I'm not going to go and sit through some boring golf game or football game hoping that some guy will notice me. But I did try a couple times to go to a sports bar. I'm like, they say that the hot guys are watching sports. So that could be a community, right? Maybe I would enjoy the game or something. I don't know. So I went to some sports bar, and the guys just looked like alcoholics. And they were paying attention to the game. I tried some other communities, like dancing. Like there's a dance. There's a dance place near me where they have like $10 drop in, and they teach you dances at 7 o'clock at night, like the country two-step, East Coast waltz, I think East Coast swing, West Coast swing, salsa, bachata, foxtrot, all these dances. So I went a few times to that. I'm like, this could be a community. This could be a place I could meet men. And the guys there were lame. I didn't even want them touching me. I did not want to dance with any of them. Because I'm like, you do not even seem very confident. You're not carrying yourself well. So I do not want to touch you. I'm different from other women when it comes to dancing. I only want to dance with men that I would want them to touch me. I'm not going to dance with some guy just because I like dancing. So I'm very different from other women in that way. It's like, I do not want you touching me. And then, you know, if their palms are sweaty, it's like, I'm just grossed out. So after like 15 times of trying or 20, I just stopped going. I'm like, these guys are just too lame. You know, if you can't even carry yourself straight and hold up your own core, like, I'm just repulsed. Animal spirits. Some guys do not realize that you have to be attractive to a woman. Like, you guys, some of you guys need to hit the fucking gym. Okay, you got to be able to carry your own weight and have some strong core. You know, that's what men really should do. And not just your upper arms where you have these spindly legs and you look like a triangle. I'm grossed out. I'm very selective. Okay, very selective woman, but not in the things that matter. I want to see signs of good health. It's turn on. If I'm not turned on or attracted, why would I want you? That's what men have to realize. If we do not find you attractive or attracted to you, we're attracted to you based on the kind of life you live. Because when you work out and you're fit, you're displaying health, discipline, perseverance, competence, and the ability to sustain a fitness routine over time. Those are all, you're displaying your traits. If you can stand up straight with a strong core, you're just gonna be better eye candy, frankly. Like, I don't want some hunched over guy. This is not a pity party. I'll be your nurse if you pay me and empty your bedpan. I did that in college. But for me to actually want to desire you sexually as a woman, you gotta have something. And sadly, the single men out there do not. So I'm here to help you out. Hit the fucking gym, guys, and work on your intimacy avoidance issues. You know, I was very mad at men for a while and very disappointed because this riffraff that's left out there is not attractive, has a lot of issues. But now I'm digressing. I'm going to make a separate video about intimacy avoidant guys. But I went to a lot of different things I was trying, and then it gets to like, okay, am I going to go to things that I don't enjoy just to find men? So I went to things I enjoyed. Pilates, CrossFit, hot yoga. I hate yoga. I'm not doing that anymore. Different meetup groups, divorced people's meetup groups, single after 60, divorce after 50. And they were all just kind of various riffraff, losers, like nobody that seemed like solid and in command of himself and had his life together. And I would rather be alone than be with just anyone. That is the point that a lot of men don't get. Now, you must remember that I do have my sugar daddies. And I do very well with men who are nice to me. I'm very passionate. I'm a very passionate. Men always tell me, you're such a passionate woman. You're such a sensual woman. Or, I saw you 4 years ago and I will never forget. So that's how I am. But in order to access that, you gotta have some competence. Anyway, I finally gave up because always going to look left me feeling like lacking, always focusing on looking. I gotta find a guy, I gotta find a relationship so I can practice relationship stuff. You know, I gotta find these social groups. The last one I tried, the social group, was pickleball. Because I'm like, I gotta find some kind of like, I like exercise. I do not want to play tennis. The people who play tennis always have severely sun-damaged yellow skin that grosses me out. That yellow skin and that rubbery, wrinkly skin grosses me out. No tennis. They're just way out in the sun too much. So pickleball. I know like there's beach volleyball. I don't want to do that. Pickleball, that seemed good. My Pilates instructor recommended it. Well, I did like a bunch of the group lessons. I did some privates. And I didn't see any guys that I thought would be at my level of selectivity, what I want in terms of carrying himself well, looking safe and kind. I'm not even asking that much. Initial impression. Didn't see anyone like that. And then the game is scary as fuck. They hit the ball so freaking hard, and they can hit it at your face. You have to be ready at any moment. I'm like, this is dangerous. I am very girly. I do not like guys slamming a ball in my face. And then there are a lot of rules. To me, seem very complicated. Like I gotta be in my head. I want to play. I want to like dance and move and play. And I want to enjoy myself and have some kind of pleasure. I don't want to memorize a bunch of rules. It was just not my thing. It is not for me. The women who play pickleball are very masculinized. Most of them are lesbians or former tennis players. They have yellow wrinkled skin. And they are not attractive. They're very dumpy. Most women my age are very dumpy. They're not hot like I am. And that's just true. I am very attractive. But I am older. So that has eliminated a lot of guys. Because, yeah, that's just life. Okay, so I tried all these different things. Tried these different groups. Oh, here's the final thing I want to say. I finally got to the point where I decided I was going to stop looking and stop focusing on what's missing in my life and take the advice of Eckhart Tolle. There is no future. There's only the now. Embrace the now. Embrace this moment. Embrace this moment. Be grateful for this moment. I have a fucking amazing life. That's why I said I'm happy. Embrace this moment. Eckhart Tolle also says, life isn't here to give you what you want. Life is here to challenge you. And Eckhart Tolle also has said, one of his lectures, he was talking about how life can be hard and how some people might be at his lecture right now saying, I love my job, I just got a promotion, a big raise, so the job is good and the money is good. I just fell in love, perfect relationship, you got the relationship. I was just at the doctor, I had a checkup, my health is perfect, so health. And I just bought a new house and I love where I live and my living situation is perfect. Okay, all 5 things were perfect. And then he goes, come back next year. Because one of these 5 is going to be gone. If you have all 5 things in your life that you love, that you're happy with, your work, finances, relationships, health, and living situation, that will be very rare. That will be a very short period of time that you will have all 5. One of them will be taken from you. One of them will be taken from you. All of you watching have at least one major issue. One major thing you don't have. Either your finances suck, or you hate your job, or your relationship is crap, or you don't have a relationship. Nobody wants you. Or 4, there's something wrong with your health. You've got cancer, or you just had an injury or an accident, or you have fibromyalgia, or you have some nagging back pain. And 5, your living situation. You don't like where you live. Your roommates are mean or loud. Your neighbors are loud. Your house is dark. You don't like where you live. You're going to have one of those 5. Now, which one of those would you, if you could have 4 out of these 5, which 4 would you take? Now, I have all of these except the relationship one. That was the 3rd one I said. I have all of these perfect in my life. I can't even live that. Okay. I have 4 out of 5 perfect in my life. I'm happy with my finances, although I always want more money. I'm happy. I love my job. I have very good health. And I love my living situation. And I have good relationships with my children. I don't have an intimate partner, but I have the sugar daddies. If I were to get a relationship, just by the laws of nature, I would have to give up one of these things that's perfect, because no life is going to give you everything you want. I do not want to give up my health to get a boyfriend. This is the universal law. I do not want to give up my living. I do not want to downgrade my living situation and live somewhere I hate just to have a relationship. I do not want to have something happen to my health or my relationship with my kids, or have a job I hate, or ruin my finances just to have a boyfriend. So if there's one thing that I have to do without, it would be the boyfriend. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when they're asking me these questions, is I figured this stuff out. I figured out the rules of life. And I also figured out that our happiness has to be in the now, no matter what. And we have to eliminate people from our lives that bring us down. Eliminate. Hiding users from the channel. Blocking people who are disrespectful or rude, do not carry themselves with honor and respect towards me, out. So with my standards and my boundaries and my understanding of life, this is what I'm happy with now. So that's it. I could join a bunch of social circles. It would stress me out to keep going out to places I don't like. And then if I had a boyfriend, he's going to have trouble with my sugar daddies. Oh, that's another thing. I would have to downgrade my lifestyle significantly. If I had a boyfriend, I would have to downgrade my lifestyle, because he's going to expect my monogamy. And I would probably want to give him my monogamy. What's going to happen with my sugar daddies? Now I have to work some other job that I'm going to hate or work 60-hour weeks to make the same amount of money. No guy's worth me making that trade-off, because that part of my life is fine. I'm not willing to downgrade my lifestyle, downgrade my living situation, downgrade my free time, my leisure time, my peace of mind for a boyfriend. He would have to be fucking amazing and replace all those things that he's taking from me by wanting to be my boyfriend. That's what a lot of people don't realize. This is why we have to share our stories. You know, it's fun when people share their stories. Everybody's got a different story. This is my story. This is why I am choosing. You know, my selectivity has served me very well. It's kept me from getting into frivolous relationships. Since I've been single, I have known women and men who got into relationships, and at the time I thought, oh my God, you know, the universe is rewarding them and not me. But those relationships, none of them lasted. There was 2 months, 3 months, maybe a year, and they're gone. Because they were not, these people or their partners were not relationship material. It was never healthy to begin with. I could see that. Not clearly always, but I saw that. So, it's easy to get into a relationship if you're not choosy. Very easy if you're not choosy. But if you're selective and you require things of people, you may find yourself being alone. Now, you could also be alone because you're intimacy avoidant, but I'm just sharing that, you know, at this time in my life, I may never meet someone I want to date. He would have to be fucking awesome. And guys who are fucking awesome, very few of them are running around between relationships because they're already in one. And if they're running around, like my ex-husband, he's remarried. After I divorced him, he's like, he loved being married. He loved being married. He said, I like being married. And I like being married too. Only left him because I was in so much pain and distress. But he liked being married. So after I divorced him, he looked for a new wife. And he found one. So guys like him are married. He is a relationship guy. That's why we lasted that long. I'm a relationship person. But I would rather be alone than be with just anyone. Men like my ex-husband, men like my sons, they are in relationships because they like them. They're relationship type of people. So that's the thing. And I think my ex-husband learned not to be so intimacy avoidant. But maybe he married someone who's intimacy avoidant. I don't really know. I don't really follow their relationship very much. And I'm not on any kind of like messaging apps with them or messaging chats where I keep up with them. So, but that is a huge thing that people have to realize. Ladies, if you want to get married, you gotta do it in your 20s. Because if you wait till you're 35, those guys that want to be married, they're gone. It's going to be much harder to find someone. And I just think it's great to have had a marriage in our lifetime as something to put on the tapestry of life. And now, honestly, I get to fuck a lot of young guys. I know people are so jealous. And I'm not into older men, frankly. I like younger men, which works out well because some younger men prefer older women, and there are not that many older women that like younger men. So I'm kind of an outlier, and I'm okay with that. You know, we all have to discover what we like for ourselves. And as long as they're my sugar daddies, there's an exchange, and I do not feel taken advantage of, and I do not bond with them beyond providing a loving, nourishing, sensual experience for them in our time together. So, you know, if I didn't have my sugar daddies, I don't know what I would do, you guys. because I really do like men and nourishing men and loving on men and appreciating men. I enjoy giving to men, dressing up for them, kissing them, telling them, you know, oh, I love your hairy chest, or oh my God, you're so good in bed, whatever, you know, complimenting them. I like that. I really do. If I didn't have that, what would I do? I don't know. I don't know. You know, getting into a relationship with some guy just for his money is something I would not want to do. I would only do that, like, if I were a single mom and I were desperate, maybe I would. But you know, the idea of someone touching me that I'm repulsed by is so, because I'm very embodied, that idea is so repulsive to me, I can't. You know, the idea of being with some old, you know, like those women in other countries that have to marry at 9 and they have some old, disgusting guy just groveling on them because he's not sensual or attentive at all, just touching them, some slimy old guy, and you're just grossed out the whole time. I think I would have to end myself. It's so abhorrent. I don't know if men understand how disgusted we can be by them. Honestly. Women are very selective, and we're supposed to be, and I'm proud of being selective. I'm very proud of being selective. Being selective doesn't mean I'm rude to men at the gym who are ugly. I'm still very friendly. Being selective means I'm choosy about who gets to touch me and who gets to be in my life and who gets my phone number. None of my clients have my phone number. I have a separate number for the sugar daddies. They don't have my personal phone number. They haven't earned that, you know? So we have to remember about selectivity. And just because I go to some group thing like a CrossFit and there are a bunch of guys there, that doesn't mean that they're prospects at all. You know, I also vet for men who are interested in me. I want to see that you're interested in me. That's part of the screening for dating, ladies. But, you know, I'm kind of worried sometimes about sharing some of my tips because there's some very angry men who leave very nasty comments, who are very triggered by a woman being selective. They will take our selectivity, which is our greatest gift and asset that God gave us, and they'll turn it around to shame us for, well, there's so many lonely men out there. You're overlooking us lonely men. No. Guys, those of you watching, if you can't get women, you have to start by getting your ass to the fucking gym. Start running some laps, do some cardio, do some strength training, wear some fitted clothes, and start having social interactions with people where you can look people in the eye, shake their hand, and talk to them. Once you do that, your life will change. And once that you do that, and those of you who are married to women who are intimacy avoidant, you gotta divorce those women and come back out in the field because they're women like me just waiting for you. But until then, I would rather be alone. And that's what the video was about, really. Like, I'm not willing to go to social groups anymore. I love being alone. I love my peace and quiet. I love my sugar daddies. And if the course of my life, something happens and the stars align and God decides that he wants me to change my life, to include a relationship, I will take that on. But I'm tired of looking for something I don't have and living in lack. I want to live in the now and in the moment, and I'm just going to do the things that I enjoy. And all the places I've gone, I made a video about before, like 100 places I've gone, I haven't met anyone. There's not a world of these very attractive men that are somewhere. They don't exist. They don't exist. So I'm not looking anymore. And if there's one who's an outlier, God will bring him to me in some way that I cannot control. It will just somehow happen. So that's the end of my video, but I want to know if you're over 60, I'm over 60. If you're over 50 and you're divorced, and have you met any people that you want to date? And how do you get sex? Like, have you given up on sex? Because I haven't. I love sex. but not enough to just have it with anyone. Like I'm willing to go without it. Okay, just let's get that clear. Again, if you want to ask me any questions, you can go to my website to buy me a coffee. You can schedule a phone call or a coaching call or an in-home appointment if you want to do a coaching session, discuss something about your personal life. Or just keep watching my videos. You can also join the member area where I have like more videos that I don't want to talk about to the public. Or just keep watching these videos and leave your comments, or just watch the videos and don't comment. Like, your choice to do what you want to do, and that's super important, you know. Anyway, thank you for watching.